Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finals of a special edition of the Cure series, this time hosted by the real Captain Basch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca, and I have him with me here on commentary. It's Xavier. Xavier, how are you, sir?
We are doing mighty fine, Mr. Travis. How are we doing ourselves? Or how are you doing yourself?
Good. I just had some Chinese food. I'm finishing off the remnants of this delicious Coca-Cola. Not that I'm advertising or anything. And excited to see these finals. Big thank you to you for stepping in and helping run them this time.
Stepping in, what are you talking about? I simply just knocked White Mage off the pedestal and stole the gig myself.
Spoken like a true sky pirate. I should have expected nothing less from you.
All right, well, Mr. Travis, we got ourselves a very, very fun matchup tonight. We have ourselves Ghoul 02 versus Chris, a.k.a. Robert Corfesi. We have, let's see, give me one second. I actually have their deck lists right here.
Ghoul is on the left side. I was fortunate enough to catch his last match, so I know he'll be running Rydia as well as, I believe, an Earth, Wind, Storm type of match. I'm not sure what Robert, or what'd you say his name is? Chris is running. What decks does he have for us?
So Chris has another interesting lineup. He has a mono ice discard as well as mono fire samurais.
Perfect. Mono ice discard. Wow, making it all the way to the finals. And so just to be clear too, these are just Opus 17, right? 18 is not included in these.
Correct. It is still Opus 17, but this is post the Noctis V Arden starter decks.
Okay, so those are a lot. Yeah, because I remember Ghoul had those in his deck. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what these two gentlemen can bring for us. I early prediction. Oh, here we go. Never mind. We're getting started.
It's going to be interesting. This is weird because we don't have a finals with Sam Prime here.
Right. I've yet to see Ghoul lose with this Rydia list, so until I see it happen, I feel like he's absolutely going to at least take a match with that list, but we'll see.
That appears to be the first deck or the deck he chose to start off with here.
Yep, there is that... Oh, that's Lenora, okay. I thought he was going to put down Sarah. So probably search out Porum here?
I believe that is the only twin he is running.
Okay, so he doesn't have the Palom variant.
Correct. So this is only Water Earth, but he does have Fire Summons and Bahamut, Amaterasu, and Brynhild.
Ooh, and who needs fire when you can cast him for free off of Rydia? But it looks like that's it. He's just going to search out the Porum. So we are going to get Samurais first. We will put down our first Samurai backup and make ourselves a Crystal. And he's not done there, though. Looks like he pitched a Goblin for Kuchaspel.
So it looks like
Samurai.
It's the Samurai for Kuchaspel and Squall. So that is a very strong start for Samurais. I think the only other strong start they have is just turn 1 Tenzin.
Well, and this is going to be very key in this matchup. And Ghoul's talked to me about this too privately, about when he's playing the Rydia matchup, if he's going against fire and they see Kuchaspel early, you can't just safely put the Rydia out there now, because now they can just remove it with anything. So that alone, seeing that Kuchaspel on turn 1 may absolutely change his approach here.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that's what was going on inside of Chris's head too, to where he knew to try and mulligan for the Kuchaspel just so that he can have an answer to the Rydia.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing a slower start than at least I'm used to seeing from Rydia. We're casting the Sildra manually. And normally I see this cast for free off of Rydia, probably more times than I care to see. But we're going to pitch a Titan and a Sarah Mobius. We will fetch out Sarah and probably... I don't know. You could get your one of Sophie here. I don't know if she's going to come out anytime soon. You could get Orin. Orin would potentially eat up some... Yeah, we will go for the Sophie.
So he's going for the Sophie, okay. Yeah, I've played against the deck a few times, but I am not of the mindset of how best to run the deck, so I'm definitely curious as to picking up the Sophie here.
Well, I know he'll want Earth CP, so I'm expecting him to plop down that Sarah right now, go search out the Kolka, which he can then use to search out the Rydia, or he can even wait a turn, but you do need a source of Earth CP. Assuming Rydia is still the plan, unless he just totally abandons it because of that Kuchaspel, but surely, that's what the deck is built around. You gotta commit to it in some form. Yep.
Okay, so he brings us to Sarah.
And I don't believe Fire has any kind of break zone removal, so his Sophie... anything he should be safe in his break zone. I don't think Chris is going to have any way to get rid of cards from his break zone.
looking at his list right now, that does appear to be the case. There is no break zone hate that I see in this list.
He's going to go surprise, fire Mist Dragon, exile your entire break zone. I don't think Chris is under any pressure here, so we'll see if he decides to just keep ramping out on backups, or if he wants to get aggressive, maybe put a Tenzin out. He's pitching... Yep, so we've got the big samurai. We were set up to bring back Squall later, and that's it. He says, yep, I'll go to 3, no problem, pass back to you. Wow, this is the most like calm start I've seen from Rydia in a while. This is nice. And there's no Tenzin either, so no pressure from either player immediately. They're both just happy to get some resources. Oh, we put out Lakshmi.
Nice. Just another way to get resources, nice free draw at the end of the turn. Basically drawing 3 cards a turn, essentially. Not bad, not bad.
We could stop this with something like a Bahamut, but we would dump our whole hand for that. I don't think that's worth it. I think you're fine with him drawing at least 1 card off of this. He says nope.
Oh, I'm to Russ. Okay, yeah.
Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, he's going over that. Yep.
Good effect, but for those who do not know, you are not allowed to manually add anything to the stack during the end phase. So even though Amaterasu would technically cancel an auto ability like that, you are not allowed to use it during that phase. So,
and this is honestly going to hurt Chris a little bit now that his opponent knows he has an Amaterasu in hand.
Yeah, it was a bit of a blunder, but it's okay. He can recover from this. I'm really surprised Ghoul didn't put out Kolka. At least I'm assuming that's who he searched off the Sarah.
He did. My guess is that maybe he didn't have the Earth CP and he did, but that is weird though because he did pitch the Sophie. So I wonder.
Well, he pitched the Sophie to use the Sarah because he actually used the Sophie's water element to get Sarah. So yeah, maybe he didn't have any Earth after that. Gosetsu. Okay, so I don't know how much samurais you've played with, but since the card came out, I'll ask your opinion. Do you have an opinion on forward Gosetsu versus backup Gosetsu? It seems like a very divided card.
I'm of the opinion of backup Gosetsu, for a slight reason. I like having the burst to hit Hien. Also, there aren't that many. Well, actually, no, that's not true. There's a good handful of samurai backups. So there's the one that shoots. There's the standard unit one. There's the crystal generator one. The big one. And then I think Gosetsu makes 5. I can't think of another samurai exact backup off the top of my head. Which if there is only 5, I think that's why most people would run the Gosetsu, just to have more samurais on the board more consistently.
Yeah.
For any effects that do require samurai either name or job on board, such as Cyan. Whereas if you have forward Gosetsu, it's much easier to remove. So that would be my best guess. Yeah, I would run backup Gosetsu.
I do like them both. Chris really went in. He actually dumped his hand out after getting the Gosetsu down, dumped Hien, dumped the Amaterasu, got out Tenzin, so he is ready to start applying some pressure. He did give up the Amaterasu for that, as well as the Hien. But the question is, can Daniel take advantage of that, or is it now Tenzin? Tenzin's ready to match this Lakshmi to say, hey, if you're going to draw cards during the end phase, I too will do that.
A little bit of a less consistent, but then again, he can also choose if he has more than one option, so, trade here and there. I think the other thing, though, is what auto abilities he's willing to use the Amaterasu for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that he has are during the end phase. The Porum counter gain, the Sophie damage, the Lakshmi.
If he leaves up the Kuchaspel, he can technically always stop the Rydia from gaining counters with it, but that will you gotta leave the Kuchaspel up and then have enough to cast the Amaterasu. So, and again, maybe he too is sensing, well, perhaps Ghoul is not actually going to go in on the Rydia as hard since he knows I've got that Kuchaspel there.
Speaking of looking at the list, I do see Ghoul is on the new Water Alpha now, which could also be a thing that the Amaterasu could use for. Could cancel getting back something crucial.
There it is. Yeah, we pitched Rydia for Kolka. Okay, so this will... Does he get another copy? He does. So he has not abandoned the Rydia plan. He is ready to... I don't know if he's ready to slam it down, but he does have his Earth CP now. He can also just convert to another plan entirely, although, again, with so many summons in his deck, I feel like you can't just abandon the Rydia. And he still has to have... How does he have 2 cards in hand? One of them was one of the samurais he drew. Orin, I think, could be really big here. Now, Orin isn't going to stop any of the cleave-based effects, such as Squall or Cyan, but if he does try to target that Rydia with anything like a Brynhilde or Bahamut, whatever, Orin will get to eat up a lot of that.
It is going to be a bit risky, though. He will have to time it right. He is only on 1 Orin.
Oh, okay, so yeah, he's got to make that one count. Is he running any Lenas? Anything to recur any of these forwards?
He is. So let's see. So like I said, there's 1 Alphino, which I damage 5. He can bring back something of 4 or less. There's 1 Lena. There's no Kusiths though in this list, which is very odd to me. I feel like if you're in Earth, you almost always run Kusith.
That is a bit surprising.
There is Fenrir to bring back the Rydia, as well as Sophie.
Sarah Mobius, yeah. It's got some good targets. I think we're getting ready to see our first point of damage coming up. Surely Tenzin is going to go in and just bop this. I mean, he's not going to block with the Lakshmi, so it'll be our first chance to see one of those elusive, illustrious, always ever present EX bursts. But first, a word from our sponsors. Hey, there's that Cyan, yeah. Ooh.
Let's see. At the current moment, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 samurais on the board.
How can you see what Ghoul's hand size is? I doubt he has 5 to give the Lakshmi her protection.
Unfortunately, how he based on how the cards are held together, I cannot.
Which even if he does, he can still just use the Kuchaspel anyway. And looks like we fetched out... Ooh, the big samurai. Okay, so that's why he's got 2 separate piles. I think he's keeping his samurai separate from his normal discard for count. I mean, I'm kind of surprised he didn't search Heian there. I almost wonder if you just drop Heian... You know, Heian and Tenzin can equal 3 points of damage. You're going to cleave this Lakshmi off the board. It does look like Ghoul has 5 in hand, so her protection is relevant unless we activate that Kuchaspel.
Let's see. But the question is, how many samurais does he have in the break zone? Because the only way the standard unit samurai is going to be able to get rid of the Lakshmi is if he has 7.
I'm counting 3 if he's got those piles separated correctly. So there's no way he's close enough for it right now. You know, you could argue too he doesn't actually even have to turn off the protection of the Lakshmi. Yes, it'll reduce it by 2, but it still can't stand up to this Tenzin with a Cyan on board. Like, that's still going to be enough to just cleave through it. Yep, here comes Heian. I have a feeling. Yeah, there he is. Get your sword quick draws out, everybody.
So I think no matter which way Chris does it, he can guarantee 2 points of damage. And I say that because if he parties first, Heian activates.
Well, he just turned off the Kuchaspel, so he doesn't even need to party if he doesn't want to. But it looks like he's going to anyway.
Yeah.
So party, Heian will attempt to reactivate. Cyan's going to cleave for good, 12,000, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Lady of Bliss is defeated. Any help on the burst? Ooh, Amaterasu. Chris has got to feel good to see that go. Heian comes in again.
Ooh.
Was that a Remora? Yeah. Ooh, that's enough to shrink something, isn't it? Because he's got a massive hand. Oh, man, Remora very timely. However, Tenzin will let us get back a samurai, so not a total loss, but man, that was a fortunate burst there for... Oh, and is he just going to misdrag in the break zone? Yeah, he is. So, Tenzin actually will get no value off of that. Ghoul saw the chance with that Remora burst, and he pounced on it, baby.
So I do need to let Ghoul know of one thing, though, with that Remora.
What's that?
So, the order with Remora. I'm letting him right now. Ghoul, can you hear me? Okay, so really quick with the Remora, for future reference, you have to declare the target first before you draw. Just in case it's ever relevant, that is how it does have to be done, though. All right, you're all set. Which is interesting, but I think the reason it's done that way is because in case whatever you draw influences whatever you want to shrink. So I think that's why one of the crucial things with the Remora is we have to declare what it is we tend to shrink first before the draw.
All right, Princess Sarah's coming out. Probably will make it. He might make it Earth to balance out the colors, unless he really wants the water ability to have a buff.
I think you would only make it Earth if it was your only Earth backup, like Earth CP backup available. Otherwise, if you have the Coca, I could easily see it just be made water, just because the majority of the forwards are water.
There's also a chance you make it fire to potentially cast some of those fire spells. So, like, he just put out Porum. Porum will get us a summon back from the break zone, but Porum's going to die to even just a Cyan attacking by itself, so he's not even going to have a chance to block. We're threatening to go up to 5 points of damage here, unless he can do something prior to the auto abilities in combat, and he's showing the break zone right now. He wants to know, hey, what kind of summons am I potentially going to run into here? There's a Leviathan, there's a Titan, another Mist Dragon.
I think the only one that would be considered threatening is the Mist Dragon, just because Samurais do have a little bit of recursion. They do have stuff that the 360 Samurai that matters because it counts Samurai in the break zone.
Yeah, but he's already removed the initial break zone with Mist Dragon, so currently that break zone just isn't even sitting at anything. So I wonder if you actually do care about the Mist Dragon at this point. The protection effect won't matter. The only thing it's kind of relevant for is it will cancel one of your Amaterasu's. Yep, so
he's getting back to the big Leviathan.
Yeah. Can we get another burst off the top? No. Oh, a second Amaterasu. Oh, man. He ain't relying on that card this game. Here comes he in.
Well, even then, it's been hard for him to really get anything to stick on the board. We've seen the Porum just got cleaved out of the way. Lakshmi got cleaved out of the way.
And a Kuchaspel. He'll get to blank him and draw a card. The card draw is nice. The blank probably won't do much at this point, but... All right, can he pull anything out here? I mean, he's looking at lethal, and we've got full backups open on Chris's side. See, here's where the Mist Dragon could have been real if he does have Amaterasu. Okay, there's Rydia. If you've got Amaterasu, I think you just tap Kuchaspel right now, get rid of this thing. Even if he's got ways to like try to get it, make him jump through a bunch of hoops to try to bring it back. But
okay, so letting it resolve. I don't know if that means Chris doesn't have an Amaterasu.
Yeah, he might not have it in hand. Okay, now this Porum is very relevant as we can turn off one of these Samurai effects. And we can respond to the Rydia, but we can't respond to the Porum. Brynhilda would be really nice here as well. Paying for Bahamut. Oh, man, are we going to try to get both of them? Yeah, and we're going to Kuchaspel on the stack. Depending on what he made that Princess Sarah, he could potentially save one of them. If he made it water, that's not enough to save Porum if he divides it with an even 5/5. But if he made it earth, oh, boy. I think Hoods needs something right now, or this is going to be a blowout. If this Bahamut knocks out both these forwards, I don't see how he recovers from this.
So he's doing 6 to the Rydia, 4 to the Porum.
So I'm guessing the Sarah is Earth then, because that way, in case he tries to bump it, it'll still die. Yep. Oh, he got them both. Ooh, big bad Bahamut.
Interesting how he didn't try to save the Porum with the Sarah pump. I wonder what Ghoul is thinking.
Well, do we know the Sarah's water? It might have been Earth, which is why he might have put 6 on.
Oh, that is true.
There's the third Rydia, though. He says, okay, hey, one of these is sticking around. And do we have another way to get counters? And there is... It's Lena. Here we go. So we'll bring back Ceramobia. Sophie's not online yet, so I don't know if you go for Sophie.
Looks like he's thinking the Porum. Yep, he's bringing back the Porum.
All right, so never mind. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get these both these cards back. Okay, that's now the only downside is he has no cards in hand, so Rydia is essentially blank right now, and the Porum can turn off the Cyan, which is huge because we can just turn off the Cleave, but Heian can still just run right into us. And if he turns off the Heian, then Cyan can just cleave the board down. So I feel like well, this is a tough spot.
No, he got rid of it. Never mind. I was going to say he could just pop the big Samurai and bring back the Squall, but I forgot he already
had dumped the brakes on. Otherwise, that would have been a nice...
Unless he has another one in hand. Let's look at the list really quick. He is on 2 Squall. So if we haven't seen the second one yet, he could have it in hand.
And he'd pretty much force the Porum to pick the Squall at that point, and then he would just get run over by the Samurais. Here comes... Oh, Venera Finesse! Not expecting to see that card. Oh, yeah, so... who do you blank here with the Porum? Like, I mean, you have to blank all 3 of them. That's the answer. You just can't. If you don't blank Cyan, he literally can just party attack Cleave. If you don't bring Venera, she's just going to shrink the board, which kills 2 of the forwards. So that's not an option. If you blank Heian...
I honestly think he just doesn't have a way out of it.
I don't think it matters. He's probably going through that, who do I blank? But I don't think it matters, because if you blank Heian, yeah, Cyan will take your board out. Oh, the Venera is so good there. Oh, yeah, I think he's toast. I can't... So if he blanks Cyan, he attacks with Venera first, shrinks the board. Cyan's going to hit... Yeah, there's no... I don't know who he chose, but I don't think it matters.
So something interesting that I was just made aware of by one of our viewers in right now, the reason there is no Kusith in this list is because he's already running Kusith in the retainer group.
What a hit! Yeah, that makes sense. So you can't share him between the decks. Oh man, EX burst on the last. Somebody should make a video about these EX burst things and how they just save you out of nowhere. That Leviathan is huge. He can, he bounced the Heian. He's going to get back another Porum. Oh man, that absolutely saved him.
So why is the... Oh, so I'm assuming he pumped the Rydia. That's why Rydia's still on the
Correct.
board.
Yeah, he used the Prince. So Rydia has 1,000 power. So he can still attack with Cyan. And if he blanked Cyan, then he's safe here from getting his board wiped. Which he must have, because otherwise Cyan would have just cleaned him.
Wow.
I mean, Samurai's hasn't... See, here's the thing, though. Even though that saved him, Samurai's hasn't taken a single point of damage, so I don't know how you claw your way back into this. Even if you live this turn, which looks like you're going to.
It's simple. You Rydia free cast a bunch of stuff.
Well, Rydia's about to die now. Yep, turn it off with Kuchaspel. What are we doing?
Okay, I see what he's doing. So he played the...
Oh, he wanted the 2K buff from that Samurai. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he did. So that's why he discarded the Heian, just to get the bot on the board. Yeah. Just to get the Heian in the grave.
Yeah. He didn't actually have enough 7 Samurai to trigger that, so he purposely discarded the Heian and used the backup one because it does 2K cleave when a Samurai enters. Sildra.
That's a very creative way.
He's gonna go searching for an answer, but I don't know what could possibly get him out of. There's Alpha No.
There's an Alpha No.
That is a good start. That will pull. That's a good damage 5 ability. But even then, what do you
get back is the thing.
I was gonna say I don't know what you pull back. You can pull back a Rydia or a Porum. That still doesn't stop this onslaught next turn. Like you need a board wipe, and I don't think he has it. Like, is he running Shantoto?
1 second, I can pull that up. He is running Shantoto in the retainer list.
Okay, so yeah, he doesn't have it for this. Get Ceremobius. I mean, you can have Alphino bring back Ceremobius or bring back Lakshmi. You can try and dig deeper for cards, but I almost feel like the Purim is mandatory to turn off one of these. Because if you don't turn off the Cyan, you just die.
I think you just die either way because...
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
Everything right now is too small is the issue. So Heian honestly just kills 2 of them alone just because he's 8k. And even if he got blocked both times, both of Ghoul's forwards are now dead, and Chris still has 3 forwards to swing in.
Yep, and he's going to scoop it up. And Chris will take game 1 with the Samurais. Man, that early Kuchaspel, I think, just totally changed Ghoul's mindset of he just felt like, I can't throw this Rydia out there. It's just going to get blown apart, so...
Well, the good news is that Ghoul now, for the rest of this match, does not have to worry about the Kuchaspel or any fire cards at all. The question is, though, is how will he manage against Mono Ice Discard?
Yeah, and he's very used to that matchup because him and I practiced that a lot. So this will be another one. It'll kind of depend on what Chris, if he's running last. Is he running Lastwell on that list?
Let's see. In the Mono, he is running Laswell.
So if he can get like if Ghoul goes first and he can get a turn 1 Lastwell to start taking out a backup or something, that's going to put on a lot of early pressure. But
you mean Chris?
Oh yeah, Chris. However, is there anything in this ice list that can deal with this Rydia?
Let's see.
Does he have any straight breaks or anything that's not damage based?
Total. Let's see. That doesn't do it.
Is he running?
There is the Lena.
The Lena?
No, Zalera.
Yeah, okay.
So he's running the 1 CP Zalera, choose a dull foil, cost 2, 3, 5, or 7, and break it.
So he's either going to have to... So if Ghoul is smart, he will never dull that Rydia willingly. So it'll be on Chris to force it to dull out and then counter with the Zalera.
Which has a number of ways. He is also running the 2-drop Shiva, which one of the effects is choose 1 dull foil, cost 2 or less, and break it, and your opponent discards 1 card.
Yep. So he's got answers if he can get it dull. I think this will be a better shot for Ghoul, but you never know with these discards, man. Sometimes they can just force you into bad top decks. Although if he can get a Rydia out there with counters, that can help mitigate it, since you can just free cast a lot of these summons.
All right, so Ghoul
he switched.
Yeah, he switched to the counter. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why. I've heard a lot of different... So he did start with Norstallin. Really good start. He's going to go search Fiona. So he's right where he wants to be. Turn 1 Lastwell would really sour his day. I wonder why he switched. I know some players have, it's good to switch or it's not good to switch for reasons X, Y, and Z. I guess for me, I've always had that mindset of like, well, you have to win with both decks at some point. So, if he wants to win this, he has to beat Ice with the Rydia.
So my thought process is you would have to already got the turn as well. I was gonna say, what's it called? I think because you're now in a position to where your last 2 decks have to beat your opponent's last remaining deck anyways. I think just like you said, it doesn't really matter. Interesting though.
The amount of times I've hit Ghoul with a turn 1, like my first turn 2 Laswell, to just take out his Norstallin. I know what he's thinking right now. He's just like, God, this card. Do I ever not have to deal with this card? And when Wind Earth isn't necessarily known for its easy removal, granted, if we have a Noctis in hand, we can put out a Noctis, search out Gladiolus, or Prompto even, and either of those cards can immediately beat up the Noctis. Like, the Retainers do decently well with kind of like an aggro variant.
The question is, though, does he have Earth needed, or does he have Noctis to begin with?
Yeah, he's going to need it. Well, he needs to do something, because Lastwell is going to ruin his day if he lets it stick around. He's pitching 2. Yep, there it is.
Noctis. All right.
He says, fine. You want to go aggressive? I'll show you aggressive.
He's bringing the Backstreet Boys. He's bringing Gladio. He's bringing the big boy.
Everybody. Yeah.
I was thinking of Oh, what's the one song from Hawaii Five-O?
Oh, I'm not sure which one.
Don't the one where the sister said her brother got died in a bar and it was the guy singing the Backstreet Boys.
Couldn't
I want it that way. There we go.
Yeah,
That's
that way. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Tell me why.
I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
All right, Lastwell, take a hike, my friend. Ooh, that was a guess. It's like I said, retainers can put on a lot of pressure just from that. Man, the Noctis is just so good. Yeah, it's not where Earthwind wants to be, where he wants to build backups, but he's also saying if you put out a forward right now, any other forward I put down just immediately kills it, so. And I see, and this is where a card like Unalesca, I don't think you necessarily want to be making them discard this early. Yeah, lower, it's costing you both a card in hand.
Oh, he's going for it, so.
He is. Yeah, we're giving up the old atonements. Yeah, which we're like, whatever. I can get it back later at the Mira. I have no backups to reactivate right now anyway. Who cares? Did Robert pitch a card for that?
I think he's still thinking what he wants to pitch. Alright, so he's pitching Mustadio.
And that's another one of those things that, like, I mean, it's not a big deal, but technically he actually has to discard first because it's part of the cost. But it's fine. Both players are going to be down a card. And that's it.
You are correct.
Ooh, that's not what you want to do if your only play is you both lose a card in hand. There's an Arcanist. Here comes Gladiolus. Here's Agrius. And if we could follow up with Althea, any kind of just ramp here. Yeah. Oh, and he got Fiona down. Very nice. I mean, we can rip that last card out of Ghoul's hand, but...
All right, so I went ahead and texted Chris that... I went ahead and let Chris know that the discarding for Yuna on his end at least is cost.
Yeah, so technically he will always have to drop it first. And again, he needs to build something else here, though. You don't want to just be like discarding your own cards every turn. That's not what Ice wants to do. Is he gonna do it again?
No,
is he paying for? Okay, he is. He did it again. I mean, we get rid of a Shantoto, but wasn't gonna cast that.
Yeah, that's yeah, cool. You got rid of a Shantoto, which most of the times like cool. My opponent has like one less board wipe, but you're in a state where it's like they kind of don't want to play the Shantoto anyways.
How much did we just get rid of there?
Are we throwing down a Physalis?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I see why he did it. He does get the double Physalis. At first I was like, I don't know if that was worth it, but he does get the double Physalis effect. Now the only issue is that this Gladiolus can go toe-to-toe with Physalis, so he doesn't really care about her.
Yeah, I feel like you should, like, if I was Chris, I feel like I would rather have Dull Frozen the Gladio, because you can't beat it in combat. At least the Noctis you can,
he could have broken it too. He had Zalira. Like, he could have just Zalired it off the backup. I get you don't want him to play another
Zalira does not hit 4. Zalira is only 2, 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah, Gladiolus was 5.
Oh, you are absolutely correct. I, for some reason, thought Gladio was only 4.
No, yeah, he can't hit the Noctis, but he could have just deleted Gladiolus. Now, maybe he doesn't want him to play another one, but... Yeah, it was... See, and...
Or maybe he has a second one in hand, and he's not too concerned with pitching one.
Now, the good news is Physalis is live, but he's going to have to commit an attack every turn to do it, which 1 opens us up to burst, 2 means we don't have a defender. An Orphan would be really nice here. Did he Unalesca again? He is.
Yeah, he Unalesca again.
Okay, so we get rid of a lock. We're going to pitch our hand for an Orphan, get him down to 1, or get him down to 0. I definitely see the power of Unalesca when you get them when you're late game and you've got a Vice or a Biblos or something else that's going to trigger. But right now, Unalesca is saying pay 3 CP so your opponent loses 2. I don't like that.
Or if they're late enough and they have another backup, it's you pitch 3 so they lose 2 so that your lightning also costs 1 less.
That's what I'm saying. If you've got something to chain it into, I think it's worth it. And I do realize he got the double trigger off the Physalis last turn, which is nice, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends what he follows up with here. He does put out Shantoto. She does only cost 1. We are going to get the last well back. Presumably last well's coming out. Yep, so we're going all in. We've dumped our own hand. Last well will take out... I think you take out his backups. Yeah. Oh, he's just going to cast it. Nice. So, yeah, he said, I'm going to Dull Freeze your Fiona. We cast Chocobo. Chocobo will get us a character. I guess it kind of depends on what kind of CP you want. I think you grab Althea here, or unless you really want Earth CP. Then I guess you grab Tyro.
He is struggling for Earth CP. He does only have 2 wind backups and no cards in hand. But no, he's holding Althea. Interesting.
I mean, he can play the Althea next turn, unless he has nothing left to rip this card out. So he can guarantee get the Althea down if he wants. Physalis is going to have to pick one discard or Dull Freeze or draw.
Nice, he's going for the damage. There's a prompt, though.
Ooh, he's happy to see that go.
Interesting that he's not locking down the forwards, though.
Well, he can't. Like, the Noctis can't swing in. It looks like the Gladiolus is down from something. What is Gladiolus down from? I don't know who he picked, so, but it looked like...
So if I saw let's hit one backup, lock.
Yeah, okay, there you go. He's fixing it. I was gonna say, I was like, if he hit both backups, Gladiolus should be active.
Yeah. Which, okay, so in that case, I would probably hit. I would have hit one of the backups and then hit the Gladio, just because it's the only forward on the board that kind of stops you.
Yeah. So, yep, we're going in. Point of damage. Orphan, hey, well, you get a free Noctis doll.
That's not bad.
Not terrible. I don't think he was going to swing with Noctis anyway, but not terrible.
I mean, free dull is free dull.
Yeah.
You're in ice, you can probably just freeze it.
Although he almost might have wanted to draw that Orphan instead. Orphan's one of those cards that you're like, I'd rather play it than see it hit on a burst.
The other thing, though, is that he has no hand, so even if he drew the Orphan...
Oh, you're right. Yep. You are correct. There's Noctis.
Ooh, there's a
Cryo. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's enough to kill Lastwell.
It's not strong enough.
Ghoul is like, determined I will not lose a game to Lastwell. If we get back the Chocobo summon, I believe we can still cast it this turn. Oh my gosh. No, never mind. I was going to say we could steal our opponent Zalira, but you still need the proper CP to cast it. We don't have any ice CP. He might just not even pick a summon with the Cryo.
Nice, so he's discarding the Althea, casting the Chocobo.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, pick back Cryo. You could have picked up Gladiolus, but you have to hope that you draw an Earth card to replay him again. So I understand his hesitancy. You'd hate to pick him up and then just get him discarded.
And I think that's probably why he went with the Cryo, where he's willing to probably pitch the Cryo now if he does draw a Earth backup.
Yeah. Chris is in kind of a weird spot too. He basically has to attack with the Physalis every turn, and there's nothing he's going to be able to cast on such low resources. Like if he Unalescas, he's only getting that one card out of his hand. I don't think that's worth it because Physalis still doesn't trigger. So you send in Physalis. You either take a risk and draw and hope you draw into something you can put down this turn, or keep Gladiolus down because Noctis can't swing into the Shantoto.
Well, he's still choosing the backup.
Picking the backup. There's a Lulu. Wants to cut him off from his resources.
Discarding an ice backup. I don't know. I feel like you would rather just pitch the other card in your hand and get the backup on board.
Yeah, I think so too. Like he's trying to keep him in, but he's still gonna have 3 cards this turn. He'll have a backup he can use. He's got at least 1 forward who can come in. I agree. I almost think putting the Arcanist down might have been better.
Because in that way, you could honestly, if you got yourself to a more stable state, you could just use the Arcanist, make 1 forward not be able to attack, and you don't freeze the other.
Here comes Gladiolus. Yep, there's a Sid. Well, and the thing is, too, the difference between 2 and 3 in hand is huge, especially with a backup. So with 3 in hand, he can still play a card like a Tyro. Whereas if you only had 2 in hand, I could maybe understand it a bit more because you're really limiting him at that point. But, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. He's committed to it. He's definitely going in on the Uniplan. But yeah, now Ghoul's getting a bit. So now if you Unileska without another, even if you get like Unileska and Orphan here, which I don't even know if you would have enough to do that without the Physalis draw, he still has a card in hand. It's not like you're getting him to 0. And all it's going to take is a Prompto off the top to get rid of that Shantoto, and then boom, we win, baby. Or even a burst. A Kusid here would be just something to keep his hand full. And he has to keep attacking with Physalis. It's a tricky spot. I get why he goes for the backups, and I get he's kind of scared of the Fiona because he doesn't want him to just search out whatever the answer is, but like this Gladiolus is also just going to beat you down eventually, too. And actually, once he goes to damage 3, Gladiolus is going to have 1,000 in Brave.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have like a big ice bomb to at least try and freeze things in his favor. Okay, so Glaciolo. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, so he can freeze and discard. I'm assuming those are the effects he's going to trigger. There's no point in dulling the Noctis. Freeze Gladiolus, discard a card. Not terrible. That's it, and then we pass after that.
The Rosa discard, I feel, isn't as like bad, or doesn't feel as bad for Ghoul as it would in normal situations, just because he kind of isn't really set up to do any crazy wind plays.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing the storm game this game. I think this game is a retainer game. I think now it's just keep Noctis alive, get out whoever else we can to help start deleting forwards.
Which I think because your opponent is Ice, I think Noctis sticking around is much easier. Ice doesn't have a way to kill off 4 CP stuff easily. They can dull freeze. The only exception is the Physalis.
Okay, I was like, if he had Prompto here, just wins the game on the spot, so he must not have had it. So one of those no action passes from Ghoul. He's either waiting reactive or he just doesn't have anything in hand. I mean, Chris might be slowly pulling this one back. This Physalis is just going to keep putting... Although right now... See, now he does have to use the Unileska because Ghoul has too many cards in hand.
Alright, so it looks like there was a interesting replay. He was trying to get the card out of the hand, but he was trying to rewind and get Edward down, but he had already declared battle phase.
Oh, okay. So he's saying he basically can't go back and do that. I got you. I was wondering. I was like, wait a minute. Why did Edward disappear?
Because he did leave the phase, so he's just gonna use Unileska to fat, essentially do the same thing, but he has no Edward backup, which is a little sad.
Damn. I would have loved that, Edward. We on a response here? We're gonna Asura. Oh, nice. We're gonna activate Gladiolus. Can we block?
Man.
Is this the Anti-Physalis? Oh, very nice. Asura coming in.
And if we can just get something sizable enough on the next turn, just slap it down, take care of Toto, that's about a done deal.
That was a good swing for... Yeah, he really needed to drop the Edward. Although it wouldn't have mattered. The Asura was always going to come out on top against the Physalis. Gladiolus is a big old chonker. Yeah, I mean, just Prompto, Ignis, any forward that's big enough. And we can end the game right here. But even without that, we can still push him to 6 easily. Oh, he's asking what summons do you have. See, now he doesn't have any Ice CP is the only issue for these summons. We don't have Tyro down. Because otherwise, yeah, he could absolutely just take Glacial Lavalas, just dull Toto out of the way, and then win. We're declaring Fiona Search. We just gonna go get the Typhon? Man, oh man, let's hope he does. Ghoul is hoping he does not run into an orphan here. Oh, Prompto, even better.
I would say you have the Prompto over the Typhon just because Prompto's in the body and has haste.
Yeah. Prompto will also search out another retainer, so he can search out Ignis. So just in case a burst stops him, he's got a little more. Well, actually, I don't think there's a burst that can stop him now. Because, yeah, even like a dull...
He's swinging 3 times. One burst is not going to save him, unfortunately. All right, so retainers take it over Mono Ice. So now we are down to Mono Ice versus Rydia.
That was the least stormy I've ever seen Ghoul run that deck, and he absolutely had to go off of the retainers that time.
Are we sure there's a storm in this deck? I just see retainers. So I think for this game, I think both sides are going to have a much easier time doing their own thing. Rydia doesn't have to worry about Kuchaspel getting rid of the Rydia. Ice doesn't have to worry about the Noctis damage hitting their own, hitting their forwards. So stuff that's trying to stick around.
Yeah, the openings are going to be very, I think, really determine this matchup. Because once Rydia starts resolving some free summons, I feel like Ice is just going to fall so far behind. So it's really important for Chris that he has a really good, strong opening. And he's hoping that Ghoul has the exact opposite. Nothing like a championship match to make you want to not have a crappy starting hand.
I think out of all the top cut matches I've been in, nothing feels worse than just bricking.
Oh, it's terrible. El terrible.
And I speak from experience. Top cut Bahamut Brawl opened all 3 Vaughns.
Oh, jeez. Isn't that right where you want to be? Isn't that exactly what you want to see? Every Vaughn possible?
I didn't finish. Opened all 3 Vaughns to then just whiff on the Vaughn.
Oh, yeah, that feels bad. Well, you live by the reveal 5, you die by the reveal 5.
That's how Sky Pirate's life be sometimes.
Yar, be the life of a Sky Pirate. My prediction here is if like, let's say both players have the opening they want, Rydia is just such an absurd deck. I can't see it falling to something like Discard Ice, but I'd be happy to be proved wrong about that. But my prediction is if he gets to start off with a Rydia and at least 4 counters very quickly, like, I just don't see how Ice is going to come back from that.
Alternatively, if the other thing could be is Chris wants the opening to best counter Ghoul's opening, which would be a way to dull the Rydia and then break it with a Zalera.
Yeah. Or does he run Gentiana in his deck?
He does not.
Okay, I would say she's a really good counter card to the Rydia if you get a dull.
Here we go. Looks like Chris is taking the first turn.
This one is for all the marbles, but I think they're still decided. Or no, he drew for turn, didn't he? Yeah, so he's got something he likes. There's a Scale Toad. Poor Scale Toad.
Which is unfortunate. I feel like you would want to play the Scale Toad.
Yeah, I thought maybe he'd be going jamming it out turn 1, even if it's overpaying just to get something. Is that...
There's Nagalata, so he's going to grab a monster.
Nagmalata. Well, he could go get... So he pitched 2 monsters. Oh, man. Biblos and Scale Toad were turned into Nagmalata to go get Biblos.
It be like that sometimes.
Well, and the monsters I think are important because I don't know his. You can tell me. You have his deck list. Is there anything in that Rydia deck that deals with monsters?
Seconds. I can
can't-
close the retainer list. I can close the.
I know he's got a few in the retainer list, but I don't know if he has any in the Rydia list.
He does have Fenrir.
Okay, so Fenrir's is out.
But that is only. But the issue is that there's only one Fenrir.
Okay, so yeah, hardly. But really, he does have something. Yeah, I kind of hate to see that Scale Toad go. That might actually be a good card in this matchup. Always happy to see the Biblos get out, but...
Just double checking the list, make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, the only card is a single Fenrir.
There's Kolka. Go search out an Earth Forward, which will presumably be Rydia. Unless we wanted Ursula for that Yang, which means we probably have a Rydia in hand. Oh, we are getting Ursula. So, if he's got enough in hand... Nope, he passed after that. I'll say he might Rydia Ursula Yang.
Alright, so we got... at least we have the second Scale Toad, so we got down to the board, which is nice.
No wonder he threw out the first one. He's like, why throw out that Toad when I need a second one?
Maybe that's why he was confident in pitching the Scale Toad, because he had a second one,
yeah.
and he can only have one on the board anyways.
That's our only development, though. So we're going to hope we can start hitting our opponent's hand. Didn't get a backup. Pitch Kolka and Remora. Get out of what I'm assuming is Lenora. No, it's Ico, actually, so we're going to go get... That's how we will get Rydia. I wonder if we just go ham here, too, since we know we're going to have to discard a card anyway. We probably... We either have enough or we're one shy to do Rydia and then do Ursula into Yang. And it'd be great if we had just one left over for a summon. Yep, pitching Rydia. We doing Ursula into Yang? No? Hold on. And Titan. A third card? No, I don't even know what we're doing. Oh, it is the Fenrir. Wow. He's got the one of Fenrir, so he says, I'm going to get Rydia on the field this way. Let's get rid that Fenrir might have been a one of, but it just came up big.
I mean, that's not bad. He does get the Rydia on the board.
Ooh, hold on. Was there a Rydia in the break zone beside that? Because he can't pitch it as part of the Fenrir cost. Did they? Did they just rewind or what's going on?
So we rewound.
Because if he is just passing, he still needs to discard for Scale Toad then.
That's. I heard him discard for Scale Toad, but I think so. It depends. So,
he discarded the Leviathan. Okay.
Yeah, so I was gonna say. So what I was gonna ask. So I think he had 6 in hand. So here's my question: what happens first? Is it the effect of Scale Toad?
Scale Toad resolves first. Yeah, discard happens at the very end after every other effect is resolved.
Okay.
So you can legally discard for Scale Toad, and then you're under hand size check.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Because he did have 6 in hand, and he did pitch Leviathan for the Scale Toad effect. So I just want to check that's how.
Here comes. All right, now we got everything squared away. Here comes Laswell. Here comes this Orphan. Oh, Physalis. Although we have too much in hand, right? Yeah, so Physalis isn't actually going to do anything. We're threatening to do something, but we're not going to do anything. He's like, I've got far too many in hand for that to matter. Okay, had to rewind off of the Fenrir since the Rydia is not a valid target. Play the Rydia. Actually got rid of the Matoya. That would have been a pretty clean board wipe here if we won, although it would have been expensive.
Yeah, an 8 CP Shun Toto isn't bad.
Not cheap, but it cleans up a Laswell and a Physalis, but surely he's got something better planned if he's willing to throw the Matoya out.
It would also be really weird because he has like one backup up, so it would he would literally probably have to dump the entire hand.
Would have been pricey. All right, here comes Ursula. Ursula's going to get us back Yang. All right, now we have a Rydia that's up to 6 counters. Here we go. So if we've got, he did pitch 2 Leviathans, but if he's got a Remora or anything like that in hand, we're We're actually just gonna. Never mind. Ursula has no love for her father. She's just gonna grab him and chuck him at Lastwell immediately.
What?
Oh, nice. And then we're gonna free cast the Fenrir. Get back, Yang. Break the Scale Toad.
This is an 8 CP Rydia.
Yeah.
Now, Travis. Not saying he would, and not saying he can because it's not in his list, but he could cast Medine for free.
That is true. So if he pulls a little Yu-Gi-Oh! Pharaoh action and Destiny draws it off the top of his deck.
Alternatively, he could just even better just get 7 CP Odin. Ooh, free cast Titan Unify Solace.
Did we just cast that Sarah for no value? Oof. Okay. I hate to ever call one early, but Chris is in a world of hurt here. He has one card in hand, a Sarah with no effects on the field, a Nag Malata backup, and we've got a Rydia with, 8 counters on it? There goes the Toto. Now, the good news is the body size does actually matter because all these forwards are a bit small, but... Ooh, there's Shiva. And Ghoul's just going to pay. Yeah, so you do not attack this Rydia. You never let this... Rydia just sits there and holds the line.
You just cast stuff for free.
I mean, and this is the problem with Ice, too, is it just doesn't have any cards. Like, how do you get out of this situation? All of its removal is incredibly spotty.
You run Earth and you run Shinto.
Exactly, yes.
Problem solved.
How does Ice get out of this? By having a completely different element. But you're right. Ice doesn't have anything that's going to get rid of a board like this.
You need, literally a combination of cards. You need, you could dull the board, so you could, if you were able to dull the board and cast Big Zalera, that kills 2 of the things, but then you still have the Rydia, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, he put down Edward. Love that backup, but okay, that's cool. We got a card out of hand. Like I said, the only thing is at least he does have this body. Man. Orphan.
Ooh, there is
okay, there you go.
Okay.
Orphan with all the Rydia. Rydia for Zalira. Ugh. Wouldn't have minded having that.
I think even if you had to pay the cost for Big Zalera just to get the Rydia off, I honestly think that would be worth it.
Well, that's the idea.
You're casting free summons every turn.
Well, that's the thing too. Is Ghoul's he hasn't put anything else on the board for the past 2 turns. He's just waiting, which means he's got something in his hand. So who knows? Even if you get a summon, is it going to resolve or is it just going to get Mistdragoned?
That is true.
He's just man. I would love to see Chris prove me wrong, but he's just so far behind here. I just don't know what he could possibly do to dig out of this hole. Where is Ice? Ice needs a Matoya or a Falthanos or a Cloud of Darkness or something. Charlotte's not bad.
There's a pseudo Falthanos in Charlotte. I just don't know what the question is. What is Charlotte?
Well, Charlotte can block pretty safely at the moment because she's got 2,000 more power. She'll take 2,000 less damage. So now Charlotte can at least block the Yang. Unfortunately, we're gonna go get Sophie. So now Ghoul says, "Hey, I don't actually have to attack you. I can just pass the turn and just kill you passively."
Yeah, it's Sophie coming out for revenge after getting put to 1, the first ever limited list for this game.
Mm-hmm. I think you have to block this here. I would 100% block with the Charlotte there. Yep, there you go.
Okay. Now the question is he going to use is he going to use Ursula to...
He can, but it doesn't matter. He can't kill the Charlotte off just the Ursula. And Yang will just die.
Okay, so he just made Ursula really, really big.
Did he? I wasn't sure if he used it or if he just let the Yang die.
No, so he used it to make Ursula 9k.
Well, because if he did that, she's brave as well. She shouldn't be dulled. Because she gets 4,000 in brave.
She does get brave.
So if he did that,
she's a brave one. Travis, I'm just gonna go and say I'm glad you're here because I would not catch half of these things.
That's my specialty,
I'm
man.
lesson, so
That's my specialty. Well, regardless, I don't think it's gonna matter because here comes Lena with Sophie. Yeah, we got the Ursula fixed.
oh man.
Yeah, and so now we take a point of damage from Sophie. Now that Orphan does trigger, so we could still dull something, which he dulled the rate, but I mean, just like, what do you do? What do you do?
I'm telling you, you play Earth, you play Shantoto. Problem solved.
So just give him 5 minutes to re-sleeve half of his deck.
Actually, he just needs to re-sleeve actually 2 cards, the Shantoto and the Earth card to discard for the Shantoto.
And that's assuming Ghoul doesn't have an Amaterasu to just cancel it, even if it did happen.
And that's where you miss Dragon.
I think, which means he needs another Earth card and the Mist Dragon, so he needs 4 sleeve cards.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
You know you're in trouble when your out is, okay, hold on. If I'm just playing a completely different deck, I may have a shot at this.
I don't see why it'd be like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's your answer, right? That is technically the only answer. He's not gonna go down without a fight. Does hit a Bahamut damage.
I like how even when damage doesn't matter, he's going for damage for tiebreaker.
Right? I know this is the final of the Cure series, but just in case the tiebreakers matter, I gotta hit him for a point of damage.
I don't want to go down saying I didn't deal him a point of damage. I at least want to, knock him back just a little bit.
Yep. And we're past. I mean, technically, Ghoul doesn't even have to do anything here. He can just go to the end phase.
A correction. He does have to do something. He has to say pass turn.
That's okay. Fair enough. But he doesn't have to commit anything to the board. So he's got 100 different ways. He just removes the Charlotte any way he wants. He just goes, and unless Ghoul loses his mind and decides to break his own board with Matoya, we're just gonna put out Alpha Node just because. So he did have Amaterasu in hand unless he top decked it.
I think what Ghoul's gonna do is he's just gonna do whatever. He's just gonna go all out, have like this big old giant board, make Sophie as big as he can, and be like, "All right, cool, pass."
Well, she is plus 8,000, so she's a 12K right now. So she's mighty hefty.
Oh, he's going to combat.
He can't actually get through with the Lena. Unless he's got a summon. Titan to like buff the board.
I think he does.
Yep, Titan. He didn't even free cast that.
No, he just was like, "Yeah, I don't need to free cast this. I'm a hard cast this."
I mean, do we have an Edward special? Technically, that'll cancel it. Here comes Ursula.
That's all she wrote.
Unless Chris has the Heart of the Cards, Miracle of Mirror. Unless Chris has access to an ice card I don't know exists yet. I think this
if he's able to back attack Shiva Primal.
He did back attack Mustadio, which can dull a forward and then take a point of damage. Yeah,
so
he just can't.
If he had a crystal, he could dull the board, unfortunately. But yeah, there is the Amaterasu, like I said today. He was going to need a Shantoto and a Mist Dragon for that one.
Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. There you have it, folks. That is the finals of the Cure Series. Ghoul, after getting beaten round 1 with the Samurais, Iridium does make a comeback and takes it in the end. And unfortunately, poor Ice just never really stood a chance in that matchup.
I would like to point out that for all of the competitors that came here for the top 8, no one brought Soiree, no one brought Avalanche, and I don't think anyone brought Mono Wind, if I remember correctly.
No wonder it was so enjoyable to watch.
we didn't have EX Burst triggering every other card, and we didn't see someone play Solitaire for 20 minutes.
Right? Oh, I love that. I'm honestly surprised that the discard made it this high. I can understand the Samurais, but I'm very surprised that discard made it as high as it did.
I think it's because we just had a lower powered ceiling top 8. Because, we, like I said, we didn't have Avalanche, we didn't have Soiree, we didn't have Mono Wind. The Mono Wind, I'm pretty sure we didn't have, but I remember seeing no Soiree, no Avalanche. We've seen a lot of decks. We've seen Water Lightning Scions, we've seen the Samurais, we've seen Mono Ice. We've seen Rydia with Palom, not no Porum, or whichever one the Fire Twin is. I don't know. I didn't play 4. Um, what else did people bring to the table? I'm trying to remember. There was a handful of samurais, I do remember, but either way, this was a definite interesting top 8 to say the least.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Xavier, I appreciate you jumping on with me, sir. Folks, we thank you for watching and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed watching this Cure series and these finals as much as I know I enjoyed bringing it to you. Xavier, anything you want to say before we head out?
First, I want to say thank you everyone who did participate in this Cure series. It was started later in the season than usual, but we were able to get it put together. We were able to get this done before Christmas, which was another big worry that I realized as soon as we hit November and realized, oh wait, we still got 6 weeks for this thing. But thank you everyone for bearing with me. Honestly, I don't run events often. So I will sometimes feel like I'm scrambling last minute trying to get stuff done. So thank you everyone for bearing with me as we got through this. But likewise, just the same, I hope everyone had a lot of fun with this. We will be back next year for the next Cure series. There'll always be one as long as there's people willing to sign up. So. Travis, this was fun. I also don't get to commentate ever, so this was a lot of fun to do it with you.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you, my friend. Folks, that is it for us. Enjoy your holidays. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that stuff, and we will see you in 2023. But for the Cure series, Xavier Ruiz and Travis Pfeiffer, we are signing out. Until next time, take care.
Roll the outro.